Welcome back to another episode of The Cure for Cowardice. Now, today was the first day at my new job where the weather was particularly shitty. It's been kind of, dreary before, but today I would definitely call it shitty. Now, by no means is it as bad as it could have been, but it was rainy, chilly, windy from when I got to work till now when I'm getting off work. The thing is, though, I still had a pretty decent time, all things considered. It went by quick. I got off an hour early, even though I'm still going to get paid for the full time because I'm salary. And just overall, things were not that bad. Like, did I like being out in the cold and rain? Not really. Was I miserable? No, not by any means. And while I was out there, I met a guy who I knocked on his door, and he was a bit of an evangelist is the word. And it was interesting because he had no coat, no umbrella. He was standing out in the rain, and he was talking to me about God. And regardless of what your beliefs are, I feel like anybody who's willing to stand in the rain with a cheery attitude and talk to you about the thing that they're passionate about, purely because they are passionate about it, like, that's to be commended. Like, this guy was standing there. He was an older gentleman. He had no hair on the very top of his head, and I was watching the rain hit his head and roll down his face, and he was happy as could be, just sitting there chatting with me. And I think it's a really great example of how our emotions do not need to be dictated by our environment. And this can go both ways, because you could say, if you're in a bad environment, you shouldn't let your emotions match and, be in a bad mood and things like that. But to the same extent, if you're in a good environment, and if you let that environment carry your emotions up into frenzy, into the point where you're at like a 10 for energy levels and whatnot, the problem with letting it do that is, if you're not careful, it can very easily come crashing down, and then you go crashing down with it. It's like, it only takes a moment for the situation to radically change, and it doesn't really matter what you're doing. And so, if we defend our state of mind from the environment and choose what we would like to feel moment to moment, and only allow ourselves to accept in the feedback that we want, then it's like we can be in whatever kind of mood we want all the time. And obviously it takes practice, and it's not going to be perfect, but like, if you can be in a situation where anybody else would be in a bad mood and you're in a good mood, then that is a superpower. And if you can be in a situation where everybody else is in a good mood and you are in still a good mood, but you're able to see things rationally, and you're not allowing yourself to get caught up in the excitement and make, rash decisions, then that is also a superpower. And this is something that the Stoic philosophy has spent, most of their existence trying to figure out, is how do we control our internal world despite the external world. And I think that there's a lot of different paths to the truth. As with anything, there is no one right answer. There's a lot of different right answers. It depends on the person, depends on the context, depends on the situation. But what I look for are the universal answers that there are still multiple. But in this case, I would say a universal answer for how do we constantly, or at least for the most part, have control is to maintain our focus on the thing that we want to focus on. For instance, if we allow ourselves to be caught up by external stimuli, whether they are pushing us in one way or the other, then we are victim to that stimuli in whatever direction it wants to push us. But if we can maintain our focus on the one thing that matters in that moment, which, could be your objective, it could be the calmness, it could be your the thing that you're passionate about. But whatever it might be, if we can just build that muscle of being able to maintain focus, then everything else fades away into the background. And so, that's what monks do. Like that's meditation, is focusing on the state of mind of no thought, where thoughts come and go, and as they come, you let them go, and over time, doing that enough, eventually you'll reach a point where there are no more thoughts coming for an extended period of time. And then you can experience the state of no thought. And it's truly blissful, from my experience anyway. And that's another thing is, allowing ourselves to be caught up in the external stimuli will be detrimental to our focus. But on that same token, allowing ourselves to be caught up on the internal stimuli is the same way. And what I mean by that is our thoughts, is our chatter in our head, the constant loop that's going and jumping to different loops. And that's part of the reason why I like making these videos and writing, is because you can close some of these loops that constantly play. And when you close them, you allow them to leave. And then you can experience that state of no mind. Or no thoughts. But, I don't know, I'm getting kind of off track here. The point, I think, of this video is that one of the secrets to a fulfilling life is figuring out a way to control your emotional state, or direct your emotional state, even in situations that most would deem it difficult to do so. Because, if you can be happy when everybody else would be sad, or if you can be calm when everybody else would be mad, then what else can the world throw at you, really? So anyways, I think that's what I got for this one. I'm getting a little rambly, but I wanted to make a video today, and this is what came to mind. So anyways, thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you on the flip side.